Start your week by installing your game plan.
Hey everybody, it's the coach. This is Thursday Night Football on EA Sports. Straight ahead, we've got a great one on tap between the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Redskins. I'll see you again at halftime as we preview some of the action coming up on Sunday. But for now, it's Thursday Night Football. And on the call, as always, it's Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
And, Coach, we find ourselves due east from our nation's capital at FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. Nothing like the fanfare of introductions to an NFL game, and that was in evidence a moment ago. Fireworks, pyrotechnics, you name it. This crowd is ready as their guys get set to match up between the Seattle Seahawks and the Washington Redskins. Alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. Charles, we look at this Redskin team as they interplay here. They come in losers of 2 straight, so they're trying to right the ship here a little bit.
They're teetering a little bit, aren't they? And now things could really go south if they lose this game, so they understand the importance of playing well and stopping this streak.
Meanwhile, for our visitors, the Seahawks, they've been as hot as anyone. The win last week makes it 9 out of 10.
The results are hard to argue. If there's a team better suited for the postseason right now, I don't know who they are.
And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. So out come the Seahawks now for their first possession. They're led onto the field by their quarterback, a man who's made quite the name for himself in the NFL, and that's Russell Wilson.
Okay, I'm not taking a turn to negative town, even though it's going to sound like it. The 2 interceptions he threw last week, those obviously have to be eliminated, and that was the focus of practice this week. But let's face it, he did throw 3 touchdown passes.
And they got the win.
So I think it was a good week for him to work on things. Had some positives, the win being first and foremost. Now he's just got to eliminate those interceptions.
A first carry for the converted wideout, J.D. McKissick. He finds an opening past the 40 as they finally wrangle him in at the 48. 23 yards on the pickup there and a first.
I know that play went to the left side, and that's what it was designed to do, an outside handoff there. But how about the whole offensive line being involved? Seal the left side where the play was going, where they call play side. But how about on the back side? Just taking care of business to make sure no one can get there and disrupt it.
Is the biggest key the left tackle?
Without a doubt. Control that edge. Get out there. You want that left tackle. You bring your tight end over there. Either way, control the edge of the line of scrimmage. You got a chance to rumble.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post, because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
And he'll take this inside the 30 to about the 29, maybe the 28-yard line. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be second down. And we take a look at the offense for the Seahawks.
And wide receiver Tyler Lockett continues to improve as a route runner and a playmaker downfield. But let's not forget, his main use, kick returner. Knows how to break open a game in that area as well.
They go play action now. Wilson. And an alley to run. And he'll be brought down at the 21, just shy of the 20 in the red zone. Give him 7 there on the tuck and run, and they're in better shape now for third.
Defensively here, you're facing a top 5 team in terms of points scored in the NFL. So when they're that high-powered, You've got to find a way to hold them under 20, because to me, that's the magic number. 20-point score gives yourself you give yourself your best chance to win.
So if they're up around 24, 28, 30, they could be in some trouble.
And I think so, because then you turn it into a shootout, and that means your offense has to keep pace.
50 catches for him now on the year, and he's got a first down. Big completion there on 3rd and short keeps their opening drive alive.
Not only alive, but plenty of possibilities now. 1st and goal, and you know me, I'm a big advocate. If you're going to throw the ball, throw it early in the down and distance count.
It's a gain of a yard, and it'll set up 2nd and goal. This is how they will line it up defensively for Washington. They are the 22nd ranked unit against the run in the NFL.
And when people talk about facing a challenge, they are certainly getting one in this ball game, because they're facing the #1 rushing unit in the NFL, which means this is going to be a contest they've got to be prepared for from the first snap.
From the 2 now, 2nd and goal. They'll give it to him up the middle, and he'll go backwards, losing yardage to the 5. It'll be a loss of a full 3 yards there, and it also brings up 3rd down.
His path became similar to almost running a stretch play, didn't it? Trying to find a crease, anywhere to put his foot in the ground and cut back. It just never materialized.
Forced out to his left. He can run, and he's going to score. It's a Seahawk touchdown. Russell Wilson, a 5-yard touchdown run. And the Seahawks have taken a first-quarter lead. With these Thursday night games, sometimes you get those quick turnarounds. You wonder how a team's going to start. They started really well.
Everyone's always wondering, going into a Thursday night game, who has their legs, who has the overall health of a team. But mentally, if you get that early edge, the other team might think to itself, it's been a short week, we're not really ready to go. You might run them into the ground that way. That's why getting that early score means a lot.
Point after here coming up. The point after through the raindrops, up and good. And that makes the score 7-0. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. This will be fielded at the 6. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. So out comes the Redskins offense now onto the field. And trotting out there, their tall quarterbacks standing at 6'5".
It's pretty much become the norm when we see guys come out before a game and go through the route tree with their receivers. I thought it was exciting for us to see the exact same thing happen in practice.
He's so meticulous, isn't he?
He really is, and that tells me it's not just a one-time-a-week thing. They work on it all the time, trying to hone that fine edge. They want to see if they can get in sync and stay in sync in this one.
Darius Geis, his first carry of the game. And he'll get about 3 here as he's out to the 30. And here a look at the offensive starters for the Redskins.
Former 4th-round pick out of Duke is Jamison Crowder. Now, he doesn't grab a lot of headlines, but he's been quietly dependable for his first 3 years in the league. Shifty, excellent route runner from the slot position, finds his way open, and catches the football. Yeah, he's dependable. Quarterbacks love to throw to him.
Geis with a carry on 2nd down. And he'll take this up near the 35, maybe the 34. There on the tackle. The starters defensively now for the Seahawks. They were terrific last week in the win over the Rams.
And all defensive teams that I know talk about creating turnovers. Takeaways, they call them. And anytime you can get 2 or more in a game, you've had a really, really good performance. They exceeded that number in a big way.
On 3rd and 2, McFarland. And he couldn't hang on to it through the contact. Incomplete.
Didn't have a receiver open downfield, and as it turned out, couldn't even find his outlet man because of the coverage. It was way too tight, unable to find anyone open.
And that is much too long. That's into the end zone for a touchback. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. They'll be looking to duplicate that first drive, the one that got them that 7-0 lead.
Of course they would. I mean, look, they're on the road, so getting the 7-0 lead was huge for them, right? Imagine getting up 2 touchdowns on the road, taking the crowd out of the game. It'd be ideal.
Nice way to start the drive, a gain of 12 and a first down. Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards. But also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off.
It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And that'll make it second and a foot or so. They're making a real first-quarter statement with a run game, no doubt.
For those who remember old-school football, running it, establishing things, seeing backs find holes, get through them, they've got to like what they're seeing from this unit so far. Right now, they've decided to, as you said, establish the run game, and they've been successful doing it.
Now a deep ball there on second down, but it'll wind up incomplete.
How about this offense already feeling good about themselves with a touchdown already in their first drive? They've certainly come out firing, even though that one was incomplete.
With the 7-0 lead, more apt to take a shot like that downfield?
Hey, you're one to the good. Go ahead and try and pressure advantage.
Only 3 there on the pickup, but that's enough to move the chains.
Just about every coach we talk to says the crowd shouldn't affect us. That shouldn't be an issue. And then the next breath they talk about taking the crowd and taking them out of the game by picking up first downs and keeping them at bay. I think we just saw an example of that there, didn't we?
Important to do, especially early in the game like they have. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40. 17 yards on the pickup there. The drive will continue. It's a first down.
Well, from an offensive perspective, that sure was pretty because the corner route, it's extremely difficult to defend from my perspective.
What we just saw there, is that sort of the evolution of the tight end position?
Yeah, I think it is because more and more tight ends are being treated like wide receivers.
And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. As his guys are in for 6. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. So that's the rookie's first trip to the end zone, and I think it's safe to say one he'll always remember.
Oh, without a doubt. That one is going to be imprinted forever. And nowadays, we're seeing rookies make a greater impact at that position at receiver than ever before. I think mainly because of the sheer volume of footballs that they catch in college.
Now they'll line up to kick the extra point. Point after, right down the middle. And that'll make the score 14-0. 1 quarter down here on a frigid December night. 14-0 is our score. We'll head back to FedEx Field after this timeout.
The NFL on EA Sports is presented by Snickers. You're not you when you're hungry. Snickers satisfies.
Alongside my broadcast partner Charles Davis, Brandon Gaudin hits the Seahawks with a football to begin quarter number 2, as we'll see one following the score on the final play before break. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. Out comes the Redskin offense now as they get set to begin another possession. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. To throw on second down. McFarland, and that's incomplete. Some of the fans here don't seem too happy about what we've seen in this first half.
No, not at all, and I understand why. They've looked lethargic, out of sync, and it shows on the scoreboard.
To throw on third down. McFarland. And this one is incomplete.
He kind of forced that one there, didn't he? It's almost like he predetermined where he was going to go with the football.
Yeah, he wasn't really going through progressions. He wanted to go to his top guy. You do that against this defense, they'll make you pay, won't they?
Yeah, they certainly will. They react very quickly to the thrown football.
Spins away. A great return there of 22 yards. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. Here's McKissick. Room to run inside the 40. And all the way in. Touchdown, Seattle. J.D. McKissick with a lucky number 13 touchdowns now on the year. And the Seahawks add on to their lead. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one, because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
Extra point splits the uprights, and that makes the score 21-0. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. And some dangerous territory. You're already down 3 scores. A 3-and-out here, or an inability to put any points up. This one might be over by half.
Yeah, and what you also have to guard against is calling every play for a big shot downfield. You know, thinking you're going to get all these points back on one drive. You're not. And last time I looked, it's still the first half. I'm not saying you have ultimate patience here, but you also don't have to go ahead and force everything either.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. McFarland, throw left side complete. That's Morgan. And he'll get it up to the 33-yard line. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down.
Hurry up, here we go. Blue 90.
They'll try and get it with Geis. No gain on the play there. A nice job defensively. And it likely forces a punt situation on 4th. Here's Tressway now as he's on to punt for Washington. Powerful running. A good return there. Call it 13 yards. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Seattle now ready to march onto the field. And coming off a one-play drive that was so deflating for the defense, what's their mentality? How do they rally here and stop this offense?
Well, hopefully there's some determination that sets in, because they weren't ready to go on the last one. Give all the credit to the offensive guys for getting it done, but to allow a run of that length, that's just not being prepared. So now, are they determined? Are they ready to read their keys and make the proper plays?
And we'll see how determined they are. They go play action here on 1st down. Sliding out of the pocket. Now he's going to throw deep right side. And this is going to be intercepted. Able to get there and pick it. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back.
Okay, it's real simple to say from here, but we know that sometimes as a quarterback, you've got to know when to say when and just throw it away. Flushed out to the right, tries to make something out of nothing here, and he winds up floating one downfield. That gets intercepted.
Tackle made there by Frank Clark.
One thing to keep in mind, partner, especially in the second half, when you've got a running back of this size, of these dimensions, I can just tell you, attrition does set in for a defense, because you're excited about hitting him in the first half. Maybe not so much in the second half, and some of these shorter gains turn into bigger runs later.
And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. They give him 14 yards that time and a fresh set of downs.
Well, he does it at a high level, doesn't he? Because when I watch him, I think of his vision. Straight ahead, peripheral. Also has that sense of where holes are going to be before they actually open. I think that helps set him apart from many of the other backs in the league.
On first down, this is Geis. And unable to get downhill there as he'll take this up to about the 37. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
They tried a quick hitter inside, but that one was swallowed up because what they're hoping, those big defensive linemen will take the bait and move laterally and open up a crease that they can run through. Didn't happen on that play.
Firing quickly here, that's complete. And he'll get up to the 43-yard line. 2 minutes to play here in the first half. Back to FedEx Field following this short break. Coming up at the half, a reminder, we go back to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman. He'll have a look back at our first half as well as a look ahead to what's coming up later this weekend. The Redskins on third down, 0 for 3 to this point. They could use a conversion. This is 3rd and 4.
Here we go.
From the gun, McFarland, and incomplete. The contact made the ball roam free and brings up 4th down.
This team is not going to make it easy for you. They're a physical group, and we just saw it there on that play. He came in, made the contact, just as he's trying to haul it in.
And a nice job here on special teams. This will be down inside the 10 at the 8-yard line. Here's Russell Wilson and the Seahawk offense now getting set to go again. He hasn't had his best day. They have been good running the football, and they have the lead, though, so maybe he just personally wants to improve his play.
And that's without a doubt, because at the end of the game, he wants to feel like he had a really good hand in his team winning, if in fact they do go on and get that done. But the bottom line is finding a way to win the game. So if you're not playing that well, but somebody else is on the team, keep going to that hot hand.
Yeah, not over yet, but looking good here in the second quarter. They will run it. It's McKissick, able to spin free. And he's got daylight. It's a foot race. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. J.D. McKissick, an even 90 yards. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. Well, from back where that one started, they were hoping probably for just a few yards on the ground there. Instead, they get 90-plus and into the end zone.
And as much credit as I have to give the guys on offense, I often think when I see a run of that magnitude that there has to have been a mistake made, maybe even multiple mistakes on defense, because you're expecting them to run the ball from that stage of the field. Instead, it turns into one of the longest runs that we're going to see in the NFL.
Extra point right down the middle. And the route is on here in this first half. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. A look at Washington as they come onto the field. Typically down in the first half, I might say, oh, you at least need a field goal out of this drive, but they're down to the point where they need a touchdown, don't they?
Yeah, normally, you know me. You've been around me for a while now, right?
Unfortunately.
I'm sorry about that. But normally, I'm the one preaching patience. Yeah. You know, take your time. First half, you still got a chance. I think they're out of patience here. This has to be a drive that gets a touchdown. So if you're the play caller, you're going to that portion of the sheet that says big-time plays, specials, anything you can use to get yourself back into it.
To throw on second down, McFarland. Incomplete, but a penalty flag is down in the backfield. Let's get the call.
Holding offense.
So apparently some grabbing of the jersey there on the O-line.
Yeah, just working the interior, and that's where the penalty occurred.
They'll come up now on a 2nd and long after the hold. Operating from the gun, McFarland. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. And able to get it here to about the 16-yard line. Call it a 1-yard gain on the play. And they're going to be staring at a 3rd and long here.
Here we go now.
3rd down, here's Geis. And he'll lose yardage on this one, back to the 13. It's a loss of a full 3 yards, and it brings up 4th down. Here's Tressway now. As the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. And he deserves a bronze leg as he gets this one away. And he'll take it just outside the 40. So we've come upon halftime with the visiting Seahawks. They're out in front. As we'll send you down the coast now to Orlando, that's where we find Jonathan Coachman, ready with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
All right, Brandon, thanks very much. Man, where has the season gone? We're into week 15 now. So let's give everybody a look at what's coming up here on what should be a very interesting weekend of football. As far as the early games go in that 1 o'clock window, we'll be focused on that game in Nashville. A big one for the Titans as they'll square off against the Jacksonville Jaguars. More good stuff later in the afternoon, one being down in the desert, where it'll be the Cardinals at home in Glendale, taking on the Minnesota Vikings. And lastly, Monday Night Football has a good one lined up between the New Orleans Saints and the Tampa Bay Bucks. In our game has been Russell Wilson, who was dynamic, as usual, in that first half. His guys have just about put this one on ice already. As for the call of the second half, we turn things back over to Brandon Gaudin.
All right, Coach, thank you, and we welcome everyone back for quarter number 3. Forecast calling for more of the same. The rain set to continue as we are underway in the second half. This is taken at its 4. They'll bring it back to just about the 25. Call it the 24-yard line. The Redskins offense now, they head back onto the field. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone, not even put points on the board. They've got to just take a deep breath, relax, try and figure out what is working, and call more of that.
Geis on the counter. And it's been like this all night long. Nowhere to run as they stop him behind the line. They'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
These guys have punted 4 times already, and they're staring at a 5th, barring a conversion here on 3rd down. On 3rd down, McFarland throwing into traffic there, and that's complete. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. The 15 yards there on the catch and run.
I know I spent a lot of time talking about how tight ends in a lot of cases now are pumped up wide receivers, but they're still big people. He used that frame right there to absorb a really big hit on him and held on to the ball.
He sets to fire deep. So they took a shot on 1st down, but couldn't connect.
Well, that certainly looked like something that they discussed all week in practice getting ready for this one. Take the big shot right out of the gate. At worst, you'll open up the defense a little bit, loosen them up, have them back on their heels.
Ball on the 42 as they come up 2nd and 10.
Green, 39.
To throw again. McFarland. And he comes back with one complete. And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. Still in search of their first touchdown of the game, but they're on the move. 1st and 10.
All right, here we go. 3.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. Flush to his right. He'll get 5 out of the scramble. It's 2nd down.
Yeah, he only gets a few yards on 1st and 10, but he's better off doing that than throwing an incompletion or even worse, an interception.
They'll run it now out of the gun. And an alley to run. And he's going to get this inside the 30. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains.
The more football I watch, the more I want to check and see if teams are going to panic when they're down on the scoreboard. And this team has shown no signs of doing that. A lot of the time, they come out after the half. Things haven't worked so well in the first go-around. They want to throw the football like crazy. But the way to open up throwing the ball is to run it. And they've run it well here to start the second half. One thing you're hoping for when you run drag routes, you're able to hit a receiver in stride, and he can pick up a lot of yardage after the catch. But in this situation, the defense was effective, able to stop him before he could get a good head of steam going.
Now they go screen. It's complete. And he is out of bounds, but first he gets it inside the 10 to the 7. That one goes for 16 yards. It sets him up first and goal. I don't know what they talked about at halftime. Whatever it was, it worked. They look like a different team here in the third quarter.
Yeah, I doubt that there are very many trash cans that got kicked over that type of a speech. I think.
And he takes it in. Touchdown, Washington. A great play there. His 6th touchdown of the season. And the Redskins are able to cut into that deficit.
I know the play ends up in the end zone with one person carrying the ball, but how about that big mass of humanity that guided him to that spot?
Yeah, they got there, but I love the dive. Always a fan of the dive. Now Matt Prater for the point after. Extra point good by Prater, and it's now a 28-7 ball game. The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. Here comes the Seahawks offensive unit. They'll have it first to begin the third. After the long touchdown drive we just saw, you wonder if maybe that's taken a little of the wind out of this offensive sails because they had it going pretty good last time, too.
Had to sit over there for a little while, didn't they? You know, they were eager.
Accelerating, and off he goes. And all the way in, touchdown Seattle. J.D. McKissick with his 3rd touchdown of the game, number 15 on the year. And the Seahawks add on to their lead. He keeps carrying the ball into the end zone, and in this one, he's sort of carrying the team on his back.
He's the reason that they lead right now, no question about it. And you talk about on his back, he's not minding the extra weight at all, is he? Carrying that just as lightly as he does the football. Yeah, what a great performance so far.
Those 3 touchdowns, it's got him in the lead. Point after, right down the middle. And the decision to just kick the extra point winds up successful. One of the shortest drives you'll ever see. One play, 75 yards, 6 points. Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes. This is taken at his 4. And not a bad return here. He gets it out to the 25-yard line. And here come the Redskins now. I guess they have to feel a little gratified to at least get on the board last time, but still work to do.
No doubt about it. I wonder now if they're going to try to increase the urgency a little bit, maybe pump up the pace, maybe go 2-minute. Who knows? Let's see what they decide to do.
They're throwing to start the drive, but that one incomplete. We saw this a lot in the first half, and it continues. These receivers just not able to get much separation.
So that means they have to win the 50-50 balls. They've got to go up with the defender and find a way to start coming down with them.
And this time, contact and another incomplete pass. Line of scrimmage, again, the 25, 2nd and 10.
All right, here we go.
Off the play fake, McFarland. He's going to sling this deep downfield, and he almost intercepted it. They haven't picked a ball off yet. That probably should have been their first, and it's 3rd down now. They have not gotten him going at all. Tried to spark something there with a longer throw, unable to complete it.
But you have to keep trying. He's one of their best playmakers. No matter what it says on the scoreboard, you're always trying to get him the football.
He's going to float this one deep. He's got a man complete. A very nice pickup of 33 yards.
You know I'm going to lean towards the defender, right? You know I'm going to do that.
I know.
That's a tough situation for him as I see it. But the truth of the matter is, That ball was not streaking towards him. That little arc on it, he's got to find a way to get his head around and make a play on the football.
Off play action. McFarland, he's going to air one out. This is caught. A gain of 39 that time.
I'd have to say that whenever you see a good post route run, they do not like to let it end without the catch. Hence, that great diving play.
Yeah, lay it up there, let him go get it, and he got it. And he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Redskins. It's their quarterback. A 3-yard run as he kept it himself. And the Redskins are able to close the gap just a bit. And maybe that was just a case of completely overlooking the guy holding the football.
It certainly felt like it, didn't it? Because on my checklist, okay, as a defender,
QB's last.
Running back, fullback, heck, jet sweeps nowadays. Before you even get to thinking about the quarterback might actually keep it.
Prater on to add the extra point. Prater for the extra point, and that'll cut the lead back down to 21. That time, 75-yard drive, 5 plays. And it ends with a 3-yard scoring run. And this will be a touchback as that sails over the end line. The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. And they hit the home run last drive. One play on the ground all the way to the house. Now the defense, maybe they're expecting a run here.
Partner, I love your description because when we talk about hitting the home run, we're usually thinking about a passing play, aren't we? Something in the air, deep ball, but how about them just taking it big-time jaunt. Now if you're coming back out, now they've established this run game, the play-action pass could very well be open.
A gain of 3, second down. And with that carry, he has done it. He breaks the single-game rushing record.
How about doing it in the spotlight of our game? How wonderful is that to see all those yards accumulated, culminating in a brand new NFL record.
And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
An interesting and intriguing decision there defensively because they kept extra DBs on the field despite seeing the multiple tight end look that came out for the offense.
I thought they were going to switch out of it. I didn't know if they felt they didn't have time or what the case was.
Well, in any event, the extra speed allowed for great penetration as they stuffed that one behind the line of scrimmage.
And they're able to get this one across the 35. The rushing numbers for Wilson may be down from earlier in his career, but he's still a threat to go, showing it there, picking up the first down. Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. They'll run with McKissick. And an alley to run. Room to run past midfield. And he is in for the Seattle touchdown. J.D. McKissick, 63 yards. And the Seahawks find a way to stretch their lead. And that rushing touchdown, his 4th, puts him just one shy of the NFL record in a single game.
And we all know he would love to get to that record and even beyond it. But he doesn't need to in order to impress in this one, does he? What a performance. What an absolute great game that he's had here in this one.
1 quarter remains here in this Thursday night matchup. We'll return with more after this. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now at FedEx Field. A lot of folks starting to make their way to the parking lot. Their guys trail big here to begin quarter number 4. Out is the kickoff unit as they run up and send this one away. And this will not be returnable. It's out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. And as this offense makes their way back out, it's AFC playoff race time as we give you a look. And it's right about this time of year you start to say this is when the cream rises to the top. Week 15, 3 weeks left to go, but still plenty to be determined.
And I think for most teams, the obvious is to try and be the number 1 or number 2 seed. But when you look at it across the league and throughout the history of trying to get to the Super Bowl, the teams you really fear are the ones that get hot and sometimes sneak in at a 5 or a 6 seed, because we've seen those teams actually get to the Super Bowl and occasionally win it.
Yeah, you think of the Giants a couple of times. Steelers have done it. You're right. It has happened and will happen more in the future, I'm sure. Line of scrimmage, again, the 25, 2nd and 10.
All right, here we go. 3-19. 3-19.
Throwing again on 2nd and 10. McFarland looking right sideline, but it's incomplete.
What's the old adage? Be quick, but don't hurry. Well, that went right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of. Otherwise, he was going to get sacked.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. From the gun, McFarland. Pressure comes. He's taken down by the Seahawk defense.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. Just a 2-yard return there following a punt of 48. And the offense will take over with a new set of downs. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. We've got a lopsided game here. I don't know, Charles, what does the handbook say that we discuss when we've got a game like this in the 4th quarter?
Hold on a second. Let me thumb to the proper page on that. Know what it says?
What?
Let's discuss how we got here. This is a dominant performance, where they took control of this game, how they've managed to keep control of this game, and then we go ahead and think about how we're going to leave here and get to the airport. In a lopsided blowout, the roads are usually open.
A carry now for McKissick. Space to maneuver at the 40. And he takes it across the 50 to the 46-yard line. Good yardage as he rumbles for 24 and a first. Charles, you said earlier this defense is probably going to need to hold these guys right around 20 or under that if they were going to have a chance. It was evident pretty early on that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, they left 20 behind a long time ago in this game, didn't they? It looks like they're headed towards a big number. But 20 was the threshold because that kept them in the ball game and kept the pressure off of their own offense.
Keep working, baby. Keep working, fellas. Tight, guys. Double tight. We got three.
Running game working. They'll stick with it on 1st down. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line. Call it a loss of 2 on the play. And it'll be 2nd and 12. Finally, defensively, they have a little clip to show positive for actually stopping him running the football.
It's been a really long night for them, hasn't it? So they got a little bit of a win there, but let's face it, the vision that he's had running the football has carried his feet to the open spaces and to big yardage all night long.
Now a 2nd down throw for the end zone, but it's incomplete. And they went for a big play through the air on 2nd down, couldn't connect. Now it's 3rd. 4th quarter, you've got the big lead. If you're coaching, Charles, you still taking shots like that downfield?
I'd be a little more concerned with running some clock and making sure you're taking care of the lead, because if you keep swinging it around, you throw a couple of picks, you can put yourself in jeopardy.
And now the 3rd down throw incomplete as well.
Not only was the call spot on, how about the execution of that defense right there? The zone was absolutely locked up tight. He was trying to force it in there on 3rd down.
But if there's a time to force it, he felt like he needed to make a play, right?
Yeah, exactly right. 3rd down, you got to try and find something. There's nothing available there for him.
And welcome back, the offensive unit. They took the timeout, and now they get set to line up as we resume action. Now here's Michael Dixon, as he should be able to pin him back deep here with his first punt. And he was called on 3 times in the win last week, as his first one here's away. Now the Redskins offense, they get set to go back to work here. These guys had to punt their last possession, and that's become too familiar of a refrain. Too many of these drives just wound up going nowhere.
But you know how in baseball, when the pitcher gets a base hit and he's on base, they bring his jacket out to him to keep him warm? A lot of times the punter goes to the sideline, puts on sweatpants or a wrap over his leg to keep it warm. He might need a massage from the trainer right now from all the work he's getting.
Again, they run. Again, it's Geis. And not much there as he gets it up to about the 5-yard line. Defensively, the tackle by Cam Chancellor.
They know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play. Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, fourth quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. It's a 45-yard punt, but a decent return there of 9 yards. The Seahawks will have great field position to start this drive. They take over on the short side of the field. Russell Wilson now gears up to lead the offense again. Hard to call this guy a game manager, but that's really all he's needed to do. The running game, fantastic.
And they've actually put themselves in a spot where they're able to close the game out, doing what you would want to do in this situation anyway, run the football. But they don't have to ramp up into it. They're already there. They've been establishing it the entire game.
Now they can keep that running theme and get into the locker room with a win. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. And he just tied the NFL record on that 5th rushing touchdown. He's the 6th man ever to do that in a single game.
And, partner, did you just say that he tied an NFL record there?
Yes, sir.
I mean, we're talking 5 touchdowns on the ground against an NFL-caliber defense.
Is that good?
I'd say that's fantastic. What a game for him.
It really is something. We are watching quite the effort. The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away. And that'll carry over the back line of the end zone for a touchback. Out comes Washington's offense as they get set to take over here. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of first downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for. And the Seahawks defense gets to him, and they bring him down. Jaron Reed in there to drop him for his 5th sack of the year.
That right now, that's a defeated team out there. I think you can see it totally in their body language.
Hands on hips, heads low. It's just been a struggle from the start.
Yeah, this team has been thoroughly beaten right from the word go.
And he will find his man on the outside. And he'll go down just shy of the 25 at the 24-yard line. Only 3 yards on the catch. It's third down. The Redskins on third down. Not so hot. 2 for 9 to this point. This is 3rd and 11. Time for a break. Back to finish it off on EA Sports after this. So it's Redskin football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. The Redskins on third down. Not so hot. 2 for 9 to this point. This is 3rd and 11.
Here we go now. 3 and 8.
Operating from the gun. McFarland nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Bobby Wagner in there to drop him for a 6-yard loss, and that'll lead to a 4th down. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you. You change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability, and a sack resulted.
So they tried to go for it for pride, but it really wouldn't have mattered. This one, it was already determined.
No doubt about it. This one was over a while ago.
And they'll run it here. And he'll take this one down near the 15. Now we're going to get a timeout here as it looks like there's a Seahawk injured on the play. While the trainers take a look, we'll step aside. Wilson wants to throw it. And, boy, that one drops incomplete, but if he was hit a fraction sooner, it may have been a fumble.
When defenses get to the quarterback that quickly, a lot of times it's called a jailbreak. It wasn't quite that fast, but fast enough that he had no time to look downfield and set himself to throw the ball. And as he tried to do that, he was hit and it forced an incompletion.
Wilson buying time to his left. And he's got it. And so close, he gets it to the 1. Out of bounds right there. They're able to convert on third down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
On any given pass play, you never know exactly where your exit points are going to be. On this play, he was flushed to his left, still on the run, able to accurately throw the football for a nice 1st down.
And a nice move will yield nothing as he's stopped behind the line. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
That's a really alert defense there because they saw the heavy look come in from the offense, countered it with extra linebackers who brought a little bit of speed and heft, and able to really make a big-time play for their defense.
On 2nd down, Wilson eluding the pressure right. And he'll be brought down right on the edge of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. He'll wind up getting 4 there on his own, but it will leave him now with a 3rd down situation.
Nice job there defensively. A great time to dial up a blitz.
And give him credit under center instead of throwing it away. Actually a pretty good job of getting past the line of scrimmage, not losing yardage. He may try and run for this. Now Russell Wilson appears to be shaken up. And you know they're holding their breath over on that sideline. He's still down. While the training staff works on him, we'll step aside and be right back. And I guess not content to get another 3 here late. They'll try to add 6 more as they go on 4th and goal. And here comes throw number 1 for the backup QB. Steps away to his, and he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly.
Well, I've got to laugh here, and I really don't want to because the old school in me is not happy about this score this late, not necessary. But this is Madden, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is how it works.
Rub it in. Have a day.
I mean, what does it matter? These guys who are playing in this game, there are no feelings
Exactly.
there.
They don't have to face the guy. Well, they might if they're in the same room going head-to-head. But
that's
the
about
virtual guys on the screen don't have to face each other after this one.
In that case, run it up.
The kickoff unit is out on the field, and they will send this one away. And they will not get a chance to return this one as it's through the end zone for a touchback. The Redskins offense now, they get set to take over here. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this final drive in a lopsided game like this?
For a lot of coaches,
be honest,
don't forget today. Don't forget what has happened out here.
Yeah, use that as ammo going forward.
Take a great look at that scoreboard. Realize how poorly everything went for us today. Coaching, playing, the whole deal. and never forget it, because
you're not going to want that feeling again.
No, you don't want that feeling again, and who knows? You may meet up with this team again.
Throwing on first down. McFarland. And that'll be incomplete with just 6 seconds left on the clock.
Sometimes the coverage is so good, no matter what you're doing on offense, you just can't shake anyone free. They try their best to find someone open, but they took away every passing alley, every angle, and shut the play down.
Back to throw now on 2nd and 10. And that is incomplete. 2 seconds left on the clock. He was looking for Jamison Crowder there. And now it's 3rd down.
This defense is continuing to contest every deep ball that is thrown downfield. And, look, it doesn't matter whether you're playing man or zone. Eventually, that becomes man-on-man, and you've got to trust yourself and go up at that moment of truth and make a play on the football.
The Redskins on 3rd down. Just a 20% success rate at 2 of 10. This is 3rd and 10. One final shot. They'll look to throw. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And incomplete on the deep ball. Throughout the entire game, and we got rain throughout the entire game. But these two teams, they had fun getting dirty out there. They love the slop.
Did you trust the forecast ahead of time? Are you one of those guys that's skeptical about it, or did you trust it?
But when I saw just a big blob of green on the radar, I said, okay, let's trust.
Yeah, and that's why I'm glad you took my advice. You got your notes laminated, because, you know, open-air booth, that rain can affect us as well, although not as much as the guys on the field. But let's face it, it's kind of fun to watch these types of games, isn't it?
It is. By the way, how impressive is it that you travel with a laminator? I didn't even know there was a portable laminator.
The things that you learn.
Golly, wise beyond his years. So for the Seahawks, they continue to roll as the win gets them to 12-2 on the year. And they'll get the weekend off now as they get a little extra time to prepare to face the Chicago Bears. Meanwhile, for the Redskins, the loss might knock them out of playoff contention as they drop to 6-8. And they'll try and turn things around next week as they have a date at MetLife Stadium with the New York Jets.